Hi everyone. It's been about a couple weeks since I last posted a video. Um, that was right before the Iowa caucuses, urging people to vote in Iowa for Bernie over Hillary, because I feel he's the strongest candidate to help us uh, lead the nation and uh, make further progress, continuing the progress that our current president has made. Um, reason I didn't post a video on New Hampshire was because, well, Bernie was expected to win New Hampshire, and he did. He trounced Hillary. And so this video is meant to go out to the people of Nevada and South Carolina as to why Bernie is once again a stronger candidate. Um, contrary to what people say, excuse me, contrary to what people say about Hillary, about her being very kind to African Americans. Now lately, she and her husband have reversed some of their decisions, and they've done some good things to actually help the African American community. They're not bad on the issue right now, but they've been overall devastatingly terrible. I'm not putting any political biases in here at all. I'm saying that in during Bill Clinton's terms, um, the economy got better for white Americans, for white people, than for it got much better for white people, and it got worse for other races. African American, Latino, um, basically any non-white race. And what I found out lately is that Bill Clinton did not start the policies that Reagan did, but he escalated them to levels that Republicans didn't think possible and that they never did before. So, oh, sorry, that's my phone. Basically, it frustrates me. It's hard to speak because I'm so frustrated over what's happened over all these years. Even on Bill Clinton's campaign trail, um, he took a break to watch a mentally ill inmate who was African American be executed. And what this African American did, it's totally wrong. I don't condone what he did at all. Um, he committed a crime, I think, where his name was Ricky Ray Rector. He committed a crime, I think, where the battery's low. He and a few friends. He was with a few friends. I can't remember off the top of my head what happened exactly, but I know that um, he had friends involved, and he drove off. He only agreed to see a childhood friend, an officer who was a childhood friend of Ricky's, and when the officer agreed to come over, um, Ricky shot him in the back, and other officers responded, and before the officers came, he shot himself in the head, and I think he was already mentally ill, and that made it worse. He survived the suicide attempt, and in 1992, um, early 1992, I think it was January 1992, he was being executed, and Bill Clinton took a break from the campaign trail to watch this man be executed. It was it was something Bill Clinton did to harden his what they say soft image, kind of like how disgusting of a person Peyton Manning turned out to be. But anyway, um, as Ricky Ray Rector was being served his final meal, um, he was eating a pecan pie, and he said he was full, and he turned to the guard and said, "Look, I'd like to save this dessert for later. Could you wrap that up for me?" And I mean, he was so mentally ill, he did not know he was being executed. The officer said, "Look, uh, you can't exactly do that. You're being executed." That's how mentally ill this guy was. And that was just for Bill to say, look, nobody's going to be tougher on crime than me. That's not somebody who is... His wife's no better. She supported him on his 1994 crime bill and his 1996 welfare reform bill, which to African Americans were disastrous. I mean, African Americans were, predominantly jailed more than white people. They still are today. You know, they smoke something like marijuana, heroin, cocaine. White people and black people, they do the same amount, but African Americans are often arrested and killed more for it, which we've seen a lot in the last, most recently in the past couple of years. But it's gone on longer. It's not just now. It's happened in the 80s. It's savage what happens to African Americans, and mostly because of what happened under Bill Clinton. I'm so mad right now. I'm trying not to show it because I don't like to be mad at somebody, especially a politician. But if they do something wrong and it negatively affects other people's lives, it gets me riled up, and it's sad that it happens to so many people. But yeah, it was not rainbow and sunshiny under Bill Clinton for African Americans. It was better for white people, for Caucasian Americans, especially the economy. Bill Clinton did tax the rich. The economy boomed. He went after the NRA, which that's a good thing he did. And look, I'm not saying that Bill's presidency was terrible, not just based on those facts, even though it was terrible, but Bill did some other things that were questionable too. He dismantled Glass-Steagall, which allowed big banks to gamble with people's money, even though the economy soared at the time. And like I said, he's terrible to the African American community. And look, he's confessed truths about the SEC, and he's reversed some of his decisions that he made during his presidency. So, he's made up for a little bit of that, but overall, he just did terrible things when he was in office. And Bernie Sanders has proposed plans to help immigrants get into this country and live like the rest of us, not like they're about to be put behind a wall in their own countries where there's violence, like Donald Trump is proposing, just disastrous. And the fact that Hillary would consider them going back at all when there's violence going on in that country, which I think in those countries it's been going on for years now, especially in places like Iraq and Mexico. The fact that she would consider it is just, I expect a Republican to say that, but for a Democrat like her to say it, when she's on the Democratic side, it's just terrible. Why would people even consider her for even considering something like that? Phone again. But yeah, I just feel like Bernie Sanders, he just recently said that in 1963 he was arrested for participating in a segregation protest, and there's footage on the internet to prove that. I mean, there's even a newspaper that says Bernard Sanders, which is Bernie Sanders, he was arrested for protesting and resisting arrest. And I think it also mentioned that Hillary Clinton was campaigning for a Mr. Goldwater. I can't remember his first name off the top of my head, but that Hillary may have even been a Republican politician at the time. I think she was actually a minor at the time. I think she was born in 47 and it was 63 it took place. So yeah, she was a minor at the time. I don't know if she would have been eligible to participate in endorsing a candidate for mayor. I mean, maybe at these schools they had ways you could participate in politics. Before you turn 18, I don't know, but Bernie Sanders has fought for African American rights for years and for immigration rights. And yes, in 2007 he voted against an immigration bill. It wasn't perfect, and that bill's the only good thing that George W. Bush did. His dad did a lot better on the issues. Overall, George W. Bush was terrible. I mean, every now and then he said something you wanted to hear him say, and he's had some pretty decent views, which aren't bad, but he didn't go through with them because Dick Cheney was mind controlling him. But anyway, that's pretty much the one good thing Bush did. And Bernie Sanders voted against that bill because it wasn't perfect, and I agree. But, against the one good thing George W. Bush did, and, give him credit where credit is due. And in 2013, the bill was much better, and Bernie voted for that. But he's fought for 40 to 50 years for African American rights. He voted against the war in Iraq, and he's been against war and, for the people's rights. We should not judge people on, race or sexual orientation. He's always believed that. Well, maybe not always, but for a very long time. Oh, turn that on. My battery's about to run out. And overall, to the people of Nevada and South Carolina, this is why I believe Bernie Sanders is a much better candidate than Hillary Clinton. Because under her husband's administration, he's overall been terrible to non-white races. And I don't say that to offend. I'm just saying, if you're not Caucasian in this country, if you weren't Caucasian at the time, and you lived under Bill Clinton's administration, George W. Bush's also, nothing good came out of it for you. And under President Obama, he may not have exactly helped too much in this area, but he hasn't contributed to it. So, yeah, President Obama has done some things that, were questionable, but overall, like Bernie said, we've made progress under Obama. And he's made some foreign policy decisions that were terrible, but lately he's done a lot better. And, he got sanctions with China, he made us allies with Cuba again, and the Iran deal is the most important part. But I don't have time to explain. And Bernie supported the president when the president's done right. And a lot of the times the president's done the right thing, even though some of his decisions are questionable. He's acted on behalf of the people. Normalized relations with foreign countries, got our unemployment rate down to 4.9%. You're telling me he's a bad president? He may not be the best, but he's definitely not the worst we've had in 35 years. That would be George W. Bush. And Bill Clinton, Ronald Reagan, I guess, tied for second. Maybe Bill Clinton a little more. But anyway, look, Bernie Sanders is a much better candidate than Hillary Clinton, and that's how I feel. So to the people of Nevada and South Carolina, I want you to know that Bernie Sanders is the man who will distribute rights for every American, whether it be race, sexual orientation, gender, you name it. And Hillary Clinton, she'll fight for some of the issues, like a few, but for the most part, she'll probably make it as bad or even worse than her husband did.